Shalom, family. Shalom. It's the Hebrew Life again. It's Shock Base Jerusalem. And I'm back with another lesson. We're going to call this one The Guile of the Lost Sheep of Israel, family. Yes, you read it, and I'm going to show it today. The guile. What is guile? Deceitfulness. Being deceitful with the Most High. And Christ spoke, and he told Nathanael, finally, an Israelite with no guile in him. So that should tell y'all that our people have a lot of deceitfulness, a lot of bad ways that caused us to fall and end up scattered to the four corners of the earth. So when we could turn back to the Most High and get this guile out of our heart and be one with the Most High, be straight up with him, then he'll turn his face back around to us and release us from our captivities, family. Let's go. Let's go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Cold like Chicago snow. Holla can't keep police. Making room in the building for my people like it's lease. When we play for keeps. Killing beats my specialty. Tony Hawk, kick, flip me, twist me, grinding specialty. If my flow is drugs, I'm like schedule 1, you schedule 3. Serve the Most High so I could become a better me. Know the game ain't free. Yeah, family. We back. Blow the trumpet, blow the trumpet. Yeah. So, let's go into this, family. First off, fair use. Fair use, criticism, reporting, teaching, research, All right. Let's get into it. So let's go to what is it? John? I believe it's John, family. But as y'all see, it says Yahusha. We're going to start it over. Nathanael was told by Yahusha, finally, an Israelite with no guile in him. But see, Nathanael believed in the Elohim just as all the other disciples believed. And when I seen it, I said, well, most Israelites must have had guile in them if he said finally an Israelite with no guile in them. As y'all see the definition of it. Occasioness, craftiness, cunning, devious, slyness. This is what us black people have. We have this slickness to do evil. We're wise to do evil. And it's been given it came not only from us, but it came from following the ways of our oppressors also. So we have to get this guile out of our heart in order to be one with the Most High. We can't be having deceitful ways. We can't be having devious ways. This is what got us walking around in the desert for 40 years. This is what caused the kingdom of Israel to split. This is what caused us to go into slavery. This craftiness we had against the Messiah and to the prophets, trying to have our ways of the heathen nations. We were serving the Most High. We asked for a king. And the Most High gave us King Saul and King David. And so on, family. So let's get into it.
We are now on top.
In the Bible, the story of the golden calf serves as a profound lesson on human folly and God's righteous anger. Upon witnessing their unfaithfulness, God warned Moses of the impending wrath. This compelling Bible story urges us to remain steadfast in our devotion to the one true God and to resist the allure of false idols. As recounted in the scriptures, while Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving God's commandments, the Israelites, overcome by impatience, fashioned a golden calf using their earrings, succumbing to idolatry. This act of betrayal deeply angered God, who had previously delivered them from slavery in Egypt. As Moses descended from the mountain, He shattered the tablets symbolizing the broken covenant. Subsequently, God's judgment befell the idolaters, illustrating the dire consequences of turning away from the true God.
Yeah, fam. So y'all see, we when we soon as Moses went in the cloud of fire, we went to Aaron and said, "Build us a golden calf." This goes all the way back to the times of Babel with Nimrod, with us wanting to have anything but God rule over us. This thing we want to serve anything outside of the parameters that the Most High gave us. We want to serve golden calves. As y'all see, that golden calf came from Egypt. It didn't come from Israel, representing fertility and crops and prosperity and crops. They didn't believe the Most High power would give them these things. They depended on these idols, idols of themselves, idols of the things that's around them, the animals, the trees, the sky, the sun, the moon. And we had righteous people in the bloodline who kept the laws of the Most High. But eventually this pagan worship was finally fulfilled with Solomon being the wisest and richest man the Most High had created to rule his kingdom. Even Solomon fell to these pagan worships, which caused the kingdom to be split in two, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Benjamin and Judah did not participate with the new activities of the northern kingdom.
Once upon a time, King Solomon, a wise and prosperous ruler, fell in love with foreign cultures, marrying many wives for alliances. To please them, he built altars for their gods, forgetting his own faith. This caused unrest, heavy taxes, and labor burdens on his people. As Solomon aged, he prioritized personal pleasure over his kingdom's welfare, neglecting his once defined wisdom. After his death, the unified nation fractured into internal strife. King Solomon's tale warns of the dangers when leaders lose sight of core values. It's a cautionary reminder to stay true to principles, as even the wisest can face consequences when desires overshadow wisdom.
Yeah, we back, fam. Hopefully y'all got a rundown of how this Guile began to crack the whole foundation of being the Israelite. The whole foundation we had with the Most High began to crack. See, when I read through the scriptures, mainly if you read in Kings, you see the wickedness of our forefathers who continued to do idol worship, which the way of the Most High was set through David and through many prophets. But our people kept finding themselves in idol worship till it led us off into slavery. And even in America today and all around the world, we take on these pagan worships from these other nations, and we don't know the Most High. And this is why we continue to be in the situation we're in, where we're last in everything. It's our wicked ways, the same ways you see of these Pharisees today, these pastors, these preachers, these leaders, is the same attitude that was on the people, our people, and their forefathers. They're nothing more than the sons of those that said, "Let us have Barabbas instead of Yahusha." We chose a murderer over the Messiah, and now we have a murderous culture.
This deviation led Israel further away from the Lord's commandments. During Pekah's rule, Tiglath-Pileser III, the mighty king of Assyria, mounted an invasion against Israel. He successfully captured several territories, including Ijon, Abel-Beth-Maacah, Janoah, Kadesh, Hazor, Gilead, and Galilee, along with the land of Naphtali. The inhabitants of these regions were taken captive to Assyria. Pekah's reign was eventually brought to an abrupt end when he was assassinated by Hoshea, the son of Elah. After this treacherous act, Hoshea ascended to the throne as the next king of Israel. The chronicles of Pekah's reign, including his deeds and eventual fate, are recorded in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. 2 Kings 13, verse 10 to 25, delves into the reign of Jehoash, or Joash, who took the throne of Israel in Samaria after the death of his father, Jehoahaz. His rule extended for 16 years, and regrettably he did not deviate from the idolatrous ways of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which had ensnared Israel in spiritual downfall for generations. However, amidst his shortcomings, Jehoash displayed a deep respect for the prophet Elisha. As Elisha lay on his deathbed, Elisha then instructed Jehoash to take a bow and arrows. With Elisha's hands over the king's hands, Jehoash was told to open the east window and shoot. This act symbolized the Lord's deliverance of Israel from the oppressive Arameans. Elisha further instructed Jehoash to strike the ground with the arrows. Jehoash struck the ground 3 times and then stopped, much to Elisha's dismay. Elisha proclaimed that had Jehoash struck the ground 5 or 6 times, he would have completely destroyed Aram. Instead, he would now only defeat them 3 times. The prophecy came to pass. Israel, under Jehoash's leadership, reclaimed cities previously lost to the Arameans during the reign of his father, Jehoahaz. These victories were in line with the Lord's compassion for Israel and his promise to preserve a lamp for them, despite their continued disobedience. The chapter also marks the end of Elisha's earthly journey. After serving Israel for approximately 50 years, the prophet passed away and was buried. A noteworthy event followed his death. A dead man, thrown into Elisha's tomb, was miraculously revived upon touching Elisha's bones, emphasizing the enduring power of God working through Elisha even after his death. The record of Jehoash's reign, his achievements, and his military might were chronicled in the annals of the kings of Israel. After his death, Jehoash was succeeded by his son, Jeroboam II, who continued the lineage. King Ahab, the 7th monarch of the northern kingdom of Israel, reigned during the 9th century BC. He was the son of Omri, who founded the influential Omride dynasty. Ahab's reign is particularly noted for his marriage to Jezebel, a Sidonian princess. This union brought about significant religious changes in Israel. Jezebel introduced and vigorously promoted the worship of the Canaanite deity Baal, and Ahab supported her in this endeavor. This widespread idolatry led to major confrontations with the prophets of the God of Israel. One of the most notable confrontations was with the prophet Elijah. To challenge the prophets of Baal and demonstrate the power of the God of Israel, Elijah proposed a contest on Mount Carmel. In this contest, the Baal prophets failed to invoke their God to set a sacrifice on fire, whereas Elijah successfully called upon the God of Israel to consume his offering with fire from heaven. This event was a significant demonstration of God's supremacy over Baal. Despite these religious controversies, Ahab's reign also had its share of political and military challenges. He waged...
Yeah, family. Shout out to Chronicles of the Lost, man, for that beautiful presentation of our people in the right image. You know, I know they just put out the Book of Clarence, but that wasn't the right culture. They didn't tell you the history. They had the look, but they didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue this.
which was cemented with the marriage of their children. However, Ahab's character is often overshadowed by an incident involving a vineyard owned by Naboth. Ahab desired this vineyard, but Naboth refused to sell or trade it due to its ancestral significance. Jezebel, in her characteristic cunning manner, orchestrated false charges against Naboth, leading to his execution. Subsequently, Ahab took possession of the vineyard. This act of treachery was condemned by Elijah, who prophesied the downfall of Ahab's dynasty as divine retribution. Ahab's life came to a tragic end in the Battle of Ramoth-Gilead against the Syrians. Despite being warned by the prophet Micaiah of impending doom, Ahab went into battle and was fatally wounded. His death marked the beginning of the end for the Omride dynasty. The accounts of Ahab's life, his reign, and his interactions with various prophets are detailed in the books of 1 and 2 Kings in the Bible. King Baasha of Israel was notorious for his wicked actions, both in seizing power and in his rule. He committed regicide by killing King Nadab, son of Jeroboam, to take the throne. To further consolidate his rule, Baasha exterminated the entire lineage of Jeroboam, a grievous act that also fulfilled a prophecy. Once in power, Baasha led the Israelites deeper into idolatry, steering them away from the worship of Yahweh. His reign was characterized by sin, as he followed in the ways of Jeroboam and caused Israel to provoke God to anger. Baasha's malice also extended to the kingdom of Judah, where he waged war against King Asa and constructed a fortress at Ramah to restrict movement in and out of Judah. His actions were in direct disobedience to God's laws, marking him as evil in the eyes of the Lord. A divine prophecy pronounced by Jehu foretold the extermination of his lineage, much like that of Jeroboam. This prophecy was eventually fulfilled when his son Elah was assassinated, leading to the eradication of his family line by Zimri. Welcome to Chronicles of the Lost. King Ahaziah, also known as Azariah, was the son of the infamous King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, ascending to the throne of the northern kingdom of Israel after his father's death. His reign, although short, was significant in Israel's biblical history. Born into a lineage that had deviated from the worship of Yahweh, Ahaziah was heavily influenced by his mother's idolatrous practices, especially her devotion to Baal. This pagan worship further distanced Israel from their covenant with God. A pivotal event during his reign was when he suffered a fall from the lattice of his upper room in Samaria. Grievously injured instead of seeking guidance from Yahweh, Ahaziah sent messengers to Ekron to inquire of Baal-zebub, the Philistine god, about his chances of recovery. This act was a clear testament to the depth of Israel's apostasy under his rule. The prophet Elijah, a stalwart defender of the faith in Yahweh, was divinely informed of Ahaziah's inquiry. In response, Elijah intercepted the king's messengers and delivered a prophecy. Ahaziah would never leave his bed again and would certainly die. Shocked, the messengers quickly returned to the king, recounting their encounter with Elijah. Recognizing the description of the prophet, Ahaziah sent multiple groups of soldiers to apprehend him. However, with divine protection, Elijah called down fire from heaven to consume the first two groups. The third group, seeing the fate of their predecessors, pleaded for mercy, and Elijah accompanied them to deliver his message personally to the king. True to Elijah's prophecy, King Ahaziah did not recover from his injuries. With no direct heirs, his brother Jehoram succeeded him on the throne, continuing the legacy of Ahab and Jezebel, albeit with its own complexities. Jeroboam the first was the first king of the northern kingdom of Israel following its split from Judah, is often described as a wicked king in the biblical narrative. His reign is primarily detailed in the books of 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles. Jeroboam introduced the worship of golden calves in Bethel and Dan, leading the people away from the worship of the Most High.
Yeah, fam, we back. That bull, man, y'all see it, man, that cattle, man. It ain't no surprise that the Chicago Bulls was used as a big logo to push the NBA and all of that. See, it's in our DNA to follow that bull, that calf. And as y'all see why Christ had to come back. It was just too much wickedness going on for generation to generation to generation. The Most High is merciful, but our people continue to go in this idol worship. And as y'all see, if the Father does it, the Son possibly is going to do it, and so on. So the Most High had to eliminate generations. So what do y'all think he gonna do? If he did this to his own people, what do y'all think he gonna do to these wicked generations that's been continuous in these countries in these times?
Queen Jezebel, ascending to the throne of the northern kingdom of Israel after his father's death. His reign, although short, was significant in Israel's biblical history. Born into a lineage that had deviated from the worship of Yahweh, Ahaziah was heavily influenced by his mother's idolatrous practices, especially her devotion to Baal. This pagan worship further distanced Israel from their covenant with God. A pivotal event during his reign was when he suffered a fall from the lattice of his upper room in Samaria. Grievously injured instead of seeking guidance from Yahweh, Ahaziah sent messengers to Ekron to inquire of Baal-zebub, the Philistine god, about his chances of recovery. This act was a clear testament to the depth of Israel's apostasy under his rule. The prophet Elijah, a stalwart defender of the faith in Yahweh, was divinely informed of Ahaziah's inquiry. In response, Elijah intercepted the king's messengers and delivered a prophecy. Ahaziah would never leave his bed again and would certainly die. Shocked, The messengers quickly returned to the king, recounting their encounter with Elijah. Recognizing the description of the prophet, Ahaziah sent multiple groups of soldiers to apprehend him. However, with divine protection, Elijah called down fire from heaven to consume the first two groups. The third group, seeing the fate of their predecessors, pleaded for mercy, and Elijah accompanied them to deliver his message personally to the king. True to Elijah's prophecy, King Ahaziah did not recover from his injuries. With no direct heirs, his brother Jehoram succeeded him on the throne, continuing the legacy of Ahab and Jezebel, albeit with its own complexities. Jeroboam, the first, was the first king of the northern kingdom of Israel following its split from Judah, is often described as a wicked king in the biblical narrative. His reign is primarily detailed in the books of 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles. Jeroboam introduced the worship of golden calves in Bethel and Dan, leading the people away from the worship of the Most High, the God of Israel. This idolatry is cited as a significant sin that had lasting consequences for the northern kingdom. Jeroboam's rationale for these actions was largely political. He wanted to solidify his rule and prevent the people from going to Jerusalem in the southern kingdom of Judah to offer sacrifices. By doing so, he hoped to keep them loyal to his own kingdom. However, this led to the widespread abandonment of God's law and is considered by the biblical authors to be a direct violation of God's commandments. Additionally, Jeroboam disregarded prophetic warnings and resisted any efforts to bring the people back to the worship of Yahweh. His actions had a long-term impact, setting a pattern of idolatry and disobedience that many of his successors would follow. The Bible often refers to the sin of Jeroboam when recounting the deeds of later kings, emphasizing the gravity and lasting influence of his actions. Thus, Jeroboam is largely seen as a wicked king who led Israel into sin and whose actions had enduring negative consequences.
Yeah, family. We back. So as y'all see, these wicked kings of Israel and of Judah, our forefathers, caused the Most High to turn his face away from us. Finally, the Most High said he had enough of this, all this pagan worship of these other nations. And he sent the Romans in. He had sent the Assyrians in, the Persians in. We still didn't get the message. So finally, he said, I'm going to scatter these people to the four corners of the earth. I'm going to seize Jerusalem. I'm going to let the Gentiles have it. And then I'll let the Gentiles and then I'll come back and regather my people. See, we got to understand the Most High has to let the wheat grow with the tare. If he wanted to, he could just reap up the tare and take his wheat and go. But there's too many people saying they're good when they're not. There's too many liars and hypocrites out here hiding behind the disguise of really being good. So he said, let it grow. Because eventually, through time, you'll know that's wheat and that's tare.
His son, Ahaz, who was notably less faithful than his father, succeeded him. Jotham's reign stands as a testament to a leader who tried to uphold righteousness amidst a society that often drifted away from God's commands. Luke 21 verses 12 to 22. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. On the day before his crucifixion, our Lord went into the temple for the last time and denounced its inhabitants as being the sons of those who murdered the prophets, a brood of vipers, and those destined for the condemnation of hell. Jesus called the destruction of Jerusalem the days of vengeance.
By crucifying the Son of God and by their continual rejection of the gospel message and its messengers, they would prove whose sons they were. Rejecting the covenant made with their father, a large percentage of the Israelites chose to follow Satan. Satan was truly their father, and like father, like son. The measuring cup was filled, 1 Thessalonica 2:14-16. For they that dwell at Jerusalem, and their rulers, because they knew him not, nor yet the voices of the prophets, which are read every Sabbath day, they have fulfilled them in condemning him. The destruction of Jerusalem was an act of God's vengeance and judgment, not Rome's. These would be the days when Israelites were punished for their sins. This refers not to Roman vengeance, but to God's. Luke wanted his readers to understand that Jerusalem's desolation was not simply a tragedy or a wretched twist of fate. It is the result of God's wrath. The Roman army under Vespasian and Titus, like the Babylonian army under Nebuchadnezzar. The destruction of Jerusalem, Luke 21:24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Yeah, family, we back. So as y'all see, we have no one to blame for our situation but ourselves. We have to dig ourselves out this hole. The Gentile is not going to help us out of this hole. Our oppressors is not going to help us. So we have to understand the only way to get back on top is to follow the Most High. That's how we got on the bottom, is not following the Most High, following other nations. So the only way we can get out of this is to stop following other nations and their beliefs and their pagan worships and go back to the Most High. Go back to the Torah. Go back to the laws of Moshe, the laws of Christ, and we shall be straight, man. But off to slavery, we went in the slave ships. This is a part of the punishment. This is what he told Moses he would do if we didn't obey him.
Deuteronomy 28:32 tells us, "Your sons and daughters will be given to another people, while you tirelessly search for them day after day, but you'll be powerless to bring them back." During the transatlantic slave trade and the time of slavery in the Americas, Black enslaved mothers and fathers lived in constant fear that their children might be taken from them. Children were often torn from their mother's arms amidst heart-wrenching cries from both mother and child, while cruel masters look on, inflicting painful lashing. This left parents childless and heartbroken. As Susan Hamilton, who witnessed a slave auction, recalled in a 1938 interview, people were constantly dying from broken hearts.
Sad, but this is what the Most High have for us for not serving him. He said you should serve your enemies. And it seems like our people over in America, they can't get enough of being a servant. If Christ didn't come back, they will be servants forever. But those that put us in captivity, that was used by the Most High for our punishment, they will have their punishment for what they did and participated in. Y'all check this out.
Hey, yo.
I'm wondering if we just inherently cursed. Just black people in general. And I'm like, because think about it. There's communities of people all over the globe that assimilate and they move and they do the thing that's in the best interest of each other. Mm-hmm. And they don't wait for an outside entity to come in to show them that it's okay to be able to change your own neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be able to pick up the garbage. It's okay for you to be able to, make sure that the kids are straight or whatever. We don't really start to respect anything, honestly, until we see white people do it. Mm-hmm. Even today in 2023, we don't start to think our neighborhood is starting to get better or being more valued until we see a white person move in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that crazy?
Why? Why in 2023 is it still that way?
Hey, yo, black people, you listening? I'm not that thirsty of a person to just believe anything that somebody tell me, but I am thirsty enough to drink this entire bottle of hot sauce. So if you're able to prove to me why it is that there's a very good chance that what this man said is the truth.
When liberals look at the people in ghettos, they say, racism. That's why they're not succeeding. And Soul is saying, no, it's not. Because if you look at this group from the West Indies, they also came from the experience of slavery. They are also black, so they also face racism, and yet they do well. So it has to be something else. And then what Soul is saying is that they were robbed of their culture, and so they picked up the culture of the people around them. And the people around them were rednecks. And if you look at the white redneck culture and the black redneck culture, they have a lot of the same values. They don't particularly respect education. They love Jesus. They use violence in their conflicts. And even Ebonics, which is, black English, is actually all from the west of England.
So what y'all think? Do y'all think that we can continue? Because I started to do a video about the powers that be against us. But before I could do a video on the powers that be against us, I have to do a video on the powers that's inside of our own nation that's against us. Before we be mad at somebody else, we got to deal with our... Hey. Sorry about that. So we have to deal with ourselves. The Most High said he's coming to judge his own people first. Before he deal with the other nations, he gonna deal with his own. Your parent, when your parent come, they dealing with you first. They not gonna deal with your friends that did the crime with you, got you to do the crime. They coming for you. We are the Most High's children. We have to stop doing these malicious, horrendous things that they constantly show on the news and show all over the world. And we can't keep blaming everybody else for our problems. At some point, we got to take a responsibility and say, the Most High has cursed us because of our behavior. I understand the Willie Lynch letter and things of that sort. Power has been put in place in cultures and in music and in media to keep us going down this path. But this didn't exist in 1960, 1950. It's a lot of things that came to play through civil rights and, like I said, through the media that put us in this position. We have to fight these strongholds, and we have to stop wanting to be as the people who oppress us every day, as the people who taught us these ways. We have to relearn the ways of the Most High, or we'll continue to have these horrific stories like this.
A grand jury indicted mom and her boyfriend charges for murder and more. Sierra Day and Deontay Lewis indicted on 8 charges: murder, child endangering, tampering with evidence. Investigators in Euclid have said 4-year-old Anaya died after being beaten. She'd been starved and had burn marks too. Both Sierra Day and Deontay Lewis locked up, and prosecutors could look at seeking the death penalty.
This video contains the interview of a man suspected of helping his girlfriend to starve her daughter to death. Deontay Lewis thought that he had his life sorted out. He was doing work he enjoyed, had a strong family bond with his grandparents and siblings, and had enough time and money to spend on recreation. He had never been interested in romance, preferring to focus on the other aspects of his life. That all changed in 2017 when he reconnected with Sierra Day, a casual friend from high school. From the beginning, things between the two of them clicked. Lewis sympathized with Day's story of a toxic ex and admired the way she was raising her young daughter, Ania. The two soon moved in together, and Lewis began acting as a parent to Ania. On the surface, they appeared to be a happy family. Ania would tell a different story. Long before Lewis came into the picture, there were concerning signs that Ania was being mistreated. The daycare she attended reported Day to Child Services multiple times before Day removed her. When Ania's father noticed bruises and other marks on her body, he questioned Day how they got there. Immediately, Day cut his visitation and spread the claim that he had harmed her during their relationship and that he was dangerous. Even Day's sister noticed odd behavior that intensified after Day met Lewis. Day would take Ania into another room and close the door to punish her. The sister witnessed at least one time when Ania came from the room with a bloody nose afterward. When she questioned Day, Day limited contact with the family. On March 11, 2018, a 911 call was placed by Day saying her daughter was unconscious. The doctors who attended Ania were horrified by her condition. The 4-year-old was emaciated, and her legs were covered in burn marks. One of her eyes had been blackened. Ania died shortly after her arrival at the hospital. It was determined that she had suffered a stroke brought on by starvation and being beaten.
Yeah, family. Y'all see it, man. Rest in peace to baby Ania. Rest in peace to all of the children that lost their life in this wicked country, man. Because this is what happens when your people don't have a God and they're selfish and they only care about self. It's hundreds and thousands of these cases, man. It was hard for me to make this video because there's so much Guile in Israel right now, so much wicked stuff going on that's unchecked, and the Most High is coming back to check it. The side note on this story is the government failed this girl. Her father was trying to get her. She reported to the people that her mother was hurting her, and the system failed her. So we can't depend on the system to fix our problems, as y'all see.
I think it seems so much, Boosie. It's like we hate each other almost as a people, man. It's almost like when I see another brother, we're so distrustful of each other, man.
Right.
Why is that, man?
I just feel like African American is the worst race in the world because, first of all, we kill each other. You know, people always talk about this racist stuff, but the white man ain't waiting in your bushes with a chopper.
Nah.
The white man ain't trying to take your rims off your car.
No, he's not.
The white man ain't doing all this wrong. We doing this to each other. So how can we say F the white man? He ain't doing nothing but when you get in trouble doing his job. Guilty. He ain't doing nothing wrong.
And you don't think he created that system for us to destroy you? You kind of think that's old now. We can't keep using that excuse. That he kind of created it.
I can implicate on that too. I really do feel like they brought drugs in the country.
Yeah.
You know, and gave it to the big dogs in the black neighborhood because they gonna put it in their culture, and we gonna smoke up all the drugs. You don't see the Italians selling keys, dime rocks on their block to their people so they can get strung out.
But most of us got a picture of Scarface.
But we got a picture of Scarface, John got it. We got all these pictures, but they know we gonna kill our race. You know, they not taking it to the white guys and telling them break down dime rocks and sell them. Nah, they gonna sell weight, cause it gonna all come right back to the black.
And we gonna fight over the scraps like.
Yeah. It's just how it is.
But I mean, how the hell do we? So I've heard these arguments so much where we say it is what it is, man. But how the hell do we get better? Like, how the hell do we escape this poison of the mind, man?
Right now, I really don't know. You know, I think what a lot of blacks need to do is get together and first take back our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know, the Arabs, everybody run our neighborhood. Yeah. You know, every corner store Arabs, restaurants. You know, if we was to farm and get our neighborhoods back, and have money to build our own education.
Yeah.
You know, to where we hire our own teachers to teach our people. You know, we giving the government to teach our people, you know, they don't have the same love for us as we got for our kids.
Not at all.
Yep, we back. So y'all heard Boozy, man. I agree with the brother to an extent. The second half, the answer to that question is we need to serve the Most High. We need to go back to serving the Most High. We had Black Wall Street, Seneca Village. I'll do a video about all the black communities we had that was tore down after slavery ended by white mobs. So at this point, if you gave us money tomorrow, we'll destroy ourselves and give it right back to those that oppressed us. So the answer is the Most High. We need to come back to the Most High's laws to fix this killing, this over pride we got, this overly prideful mindset we got in our community, this overly sexual mindset we got in our community.
Shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Read it one more time.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Stop. Bondage or slavery. Watch this.
Again with ships.
How?
With ships.
How did our ancestors get to the shores of America? Ships. Who else is that applied to? As a race of people, not individuals. Because a lot of people be like, oh, we had slave at some point in time in history. We're talking about hundreds of millions of people that were taken from one side of the earth and brought to another side of the earth. And them and their children and their children's children were all captive slaves. Right. Who does that apply to? Only us. Right? Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Watch this.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
And we've never seen our homeland again. That's why when I asked my brother where he's from, you said, Maryland. Are you really from Maryland? Is that really where your people come from?
No.
Exactly. We've never seen our homeland again. And I would say the same thing.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. Come on. And it shall come to pass. It shall come to pass. If thou shalt hearken diligently. If we shall hearken diligently, come on. Unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So we listen to the Most High God, read. To observe and to do all his commandments. If we observe to do all his commandments, like today. Today is the Lord's Sabbath day. Us up here are keeping the command. We're hearkening to the law that was placed so long ago. Read. Which I command thee this day. That the Lord thy God will set thee on high. So, if we repent, if we apply the laws, we will be set on high. Read. Above all nations of the earth. Above what? Above all nations of the earth. Now, if we keep the laws as is written according to the scriptures, we're going to be placed above all nations above the earth. But are we above all nations on earth right now? No. We're at the bottom. They're living off of us. We work for them and they live off of us. So we're the book of Deuteronomy.
Yeah, fam. So y'all see, if we turn back to the Most High, we would have those blessings. But we're living in our curses of disobedience to the Most High. That's why he said, no man shall save you. That's why Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and nobody was able to save us. And when they did step in, they killed them and they pushed us into a further disparity after civil rights. I hear this from my father and several other older black people in the community that our community truly took a hit. Not, we know the crack era, the community took probably the final blow it could really take, but civil rights, desegregating everything, even though it was still segregated with certain schools blacks was going to go to and certain schools whites going to go to still to this day. But us losing our own businesses, our own communities, and integrating killed us. And I don't agree with Jesse Peterson. I feel like he licked boots a little too much. He don't have the full spectrum of what we should do to get out of this, which is Christ. They never have the full stories, family. But hey, the Most High used snakes to kill rats.
Let me go to Atticus out of Dallas, Texas. Atticus, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yes, Jesse. I want to speak to you regarding this affirmative action thing.
Okay.
You speak of?
Yes. Okay.
Well, when it comes to affirmative action, you say that blacks are not qualified.
Right.
That they only get into these schools because they're not. Are you saying they're not intelligent enough to get into school?
Right.
On their own merit?
Yes.
That's what you say?
Yes.
Okay. So, in the beginning, when these schools, are you saying this just now or since the beginning when these schools started? Such as Princeton. Do you realize that there were black people that attended Princeton and actually graduated from Princeton before nowadays? Do you realize that?
Are you saying they got in before affirmative action existed?
Yeah, they got in before affirmative action existed.
Because back in those days, Atticus, black people were a noble people. They worked hard. They got married. They set good example. They bought land, and they didn't blame anyone for anything. They were able to overcome. But since the civil rights movement, blacks have not developed. They look to so-called black leaders to tell them how to think and what to do. They rely on the government to provide for them. The men are like black women in that they are emotional. They live in their imagination. They are angry. They become like their mamas, mothers. And so they are not capable today of doing it on their own. That's why they fight for reparations and affirmative action, and they try to take for the white man. Black people today is not the same people that they were prior to the civil rights movement.
Okay. I see that you're good at making all these assertions regarding black people, but you exclude yourself. You know, none of these things that you say regarding black people, you don't include yourself in those, though.
And you know why, right?
No, I don't know why.
Because I'm not.
You think that you somewhat above, you know, the average black person?
Yes.
Is that why?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that the white man or anyone is superior to me. I believe that if I put the effort into it with a good attitude, there's nothing that I cannot do. I treat all people the same because I understand the battle is a spiritual battle, has nothing to do with color. And so I treat all people the same. And I have faith in God that all is well.
You don't treat all people the same, Jason.
Yes, I do.
You don't at all. Okay.
Why you say I don't? What do you mean? Give me an example of not treating all people the same.
Let me give you this example. Now, you say that black people feel inferior.
Yes.
But when you say that blacks are not smart enough to get into schools, you know, and
Yeah, fam. So y'all heard him. Y'all heard Jesse Peterson. And it's true. Black people complain too much and blame too much on everybody else now. We know the game is rigged. We came out of slavery, so there's no point in complaining about what we got to do to get out this hole. We have to serve the Most High. We got to stop doing this heathen stuff we continue to do in this country. We have to have a higher standard if we want to be held at any standard, because right now we at the bottom.
Let's talk about the so-called black card. There are certain things that automatically qualify you as black in the community, and if you don't fit in, then apparently you aren't really black. Who said that? For example, you can't be black and not like fried chicken.
All these years, I thought I liked chicken because it was delicious. Turns out I'm genetically predisposed to liking chicken.
And if you don't know how to play spades, why even sit at the table? And don't you... Let's talk about the so-called black card. There are certain things that automatically qualify you as black in the community, and if you don't fit in, then apparently you aren't really black. Who said that? For example, you can't be black and not like fried chicken.
All these years, I thought I liked chicken because it was delicious. Turns out I'm genetically predisposed to liking chicken.
And if you don't know how to play spades, why even sit at the table? And don't you dare say that you don't eat watermelon, which I don't, or you'll get crazy looks like you said you voted for Donald Trump or something. Not fulfilling certain stereotypes doesn't make you any less black. Many of these stereotypes developed because of racism, so continuing to perpetuate them only drives a bigger wedge between us. They allow others to define our blackness instead of letting us make the rules for ourselves. More importantly, it only validates others' negative connotations toward us, forcing us to fit into this narrow category created for us so many years ago. Claire Smith is an assistant professor at Missouri Valley College who has knowledge on this topic.
The stereotype that black people love chicken, I think also dates back to slavery days, and I think it was really reinforced by the movie Birth of a Nation, which shows some profoundly racist shots of African American people or white people in blackface eating chicken in the halls of government
And stereotypes like this one and others can have long-term psychological effects on Black people. Monica Williams is an associate professor of psychology at the University of Connecticut, who explains these effects.
We tend to internalize them and we tend to believe them. And as a result, we come to wrong conclusions about other people based on stereotypes. We invent these as a society to help explain differences and inequalities in a way that makes people feel like they're not to blame for those inequalities.
But like they say, it's beauty in the struggle. So that means we can and should defy these stereotypes rooted in racism. So the next time you call someone out for not acting Black, ask yourself if you're truly helping or harming.
I heard him. Yeah, family. Y'all see it, man. We gotta let this culture go, man. I could do a whole nother video on how this so-called Black culture, the way we act, is, man, it's ways that's been given to us through the slavery, through TV, through media, as y'all see, through movies. This is what they want you to act like. And we fell for the trick of acting exactly how the heathen want us to act. Why they act nothing like that. Keeping us further in this deep, dark, sunken place with the Most High. And that's why every time you turn on the TV, you see us doing the most horriblest things. Us out of all people, the Most High's people. The Most High said Judah and Israel done worse than anybody. We do the worstest things, man. Y'all check this video out. This is what I'm talking about when I say Guile. This woman apartment is completely filthy. I'm talking about a dog can live better than how this woman is looking. Viewer discretion is advised. But she's telling this landlord, cussing him out, talking about, you got a gun on your hip because he has a concealed carry. He didn't come there to shoot you. He came there to get you out of his apartment. But this woman to yell and try to create a scene and try to even get the police to shoot him or somebody saying he got a gun on him, other than just leaving the apartment like a decent human being and keeping it as a decent human being. This is the Guile of Israel, family. Complete deceitfulness to keep doing filthy things.
I'm gonna come to your house at 5 in the morning.
Good.
I promise you that.
Where your home insurance policy?
We don't need your mammy got it.
Yeah, we'll cash it in.
For what?
For nothing, you piece of shit.
Like I said, if she called me to put you, I don't want you to leave.
You got a motherfucking gun. You talking shit.
What I need a gun for?
Cause
for
you weak. You got one. I saw it on your hip.
That's what I'm saying. What I need it for? Yeah. That same motherfucker, that long titty motherfucker that I was talking about, I said I was coming back. This how she living. Like I said, you know she ain't washed her ass. How the fuck you gonna wash your ass in there?
Oh, she's sleeping. Look at her panic. Come on, get her bed.
Do the light work? Oh my God. I'm gonna come to your house at 5 in the morning.
Good.
I promise you that.
Where your home insurance policy?
Shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments. And
I'm gonna come to your house at 5 in the morning.
Good.
I promise you that.
Where your home insurance policy?
Your mammy got it.
Yeah, we'll cash it in.
For what?
For nothing, you piece of shit.
Like I said, if she called me to put you, I don't want you to leave.
You got a motherfucking gun. You talking shit.
What I need a gun for?
Cause
for
you weak. You got one. I saw it on your hip.
That's what I'm saying. What I need it for? Yeah. That same motherfucker, that long titty motherfucker that I was talking about, I said I was coming back. This how she living. Like I said, you know she ain't washed her ass. How the fuck you gonna wash your ass in there?
She's sleeping. Look at her panic. Come on, get her bed.
Do the light work? Oh my God.
Look like a little red.
Y'all seen it, fam. Disgusting. Like I said, animals, kids, anybody could be living better than that. That black woman had the nerve to be arguing with her landlord, trying not to let them in and all of that. And then that's what they living like, man. We got to stop doing this. Everybody know a person who live filthy, man. This is unclean and it's ungodly. It's unrighteous to be living in somebody's place like that. That shows no care, like I said, selfishness and a care for nobody but yourself. Can't even take a bath. Like, come on, man.
I'm in a better place in my life. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not out there committing crimes now, and I feel like I should be given a shot.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that you get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
She hit her ass hard.
A 15-year-old, correct? And you're on camera. Okay. You're feeling threatened. Okay, well go in. No, Mom.
I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions. I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court. As it existed the moment I walked in, prior to anything happening, nothing's been changed, indicating the sentence I intended to impose.
The man had up to 48 months. The man only had 19 months. Now Israel out here breaking records. Have y'all ever in y'all life, all the days y'all live, seen anybody dive and tackle the judge? Man should have been in the NBA. What is he? You would have thought he had life. Man got 19 months. This is Israel out here breaking records, family, with the gal and the ridiculousness. The Most High got us on a light bulb with this ridiculousness out here. The man went viral, tackling the judge. We need to turn back to the Most High, family, or like he said, we're going to be destroyed. He said when they take them slave chains off, we will be destroyed, and that's what you're seeing.
Himself, and that he may be unto thee a God, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him that standeth here with us this day before the Lord our God, and also with him that is not here with us this day. For ye know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which ye passed by. And ye have seen their abominations, and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them. Lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day from the Lord our God, to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood. And it come to pass, when he heareth the words of this curse, that he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of mine heart, to add drunkenness to thirst. The Lord will not spare him. But then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy shall smoke against that man, and all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him, and the Lord shall blot out his name from under heaven. And the Lord shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land, shall say, when they see the plagues of that land, and the sickness which the Lord hath laid upon it, and that the whole land thereof is brimstone and salt and burning, that it is not sown, nor beareth, nor any grass groweth therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. Even all nations shall say, Wherefore hath the Lord done thus unto this land? What meaneth the heat of his great anger? Then men shall say, Because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. For they went and served other gods, and worshipped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land, to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. And the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land, as it is this day. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law.
All over the earth.
Yeah, fam. Excuse me. Y'all heard it, man. We got to turn back to the Most High. Hey. Yeah, man. We got to turn back to the Most High, though, fam. That's what we got to do. We going to keep saying these ridiculous cases, man.
A standoff in Baltimore County, live streamed on Instagram.
Do whatever y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna die. Listen, no, I'm not gonna open the door. And if you come and try to use force at the door, I'm going to shoot.
Police say the man behind the camera, 31-year-old Antonio Hart.
Get me a hostage negotiator here now.
But that was just the start of what was to come.
Yeah, I'm dying today. I can't take it no more.
Hart confessing to several homicides, including the unsolved homicide of 18-year-old Tyran Deshaun Smoot.
Yeah, Tyran, I killed him too, 2011.
And the murder of 16-year-old Daquan Burks. Sterling Matthews, 17 at the time, now serving a 115-year sentence in that case.
I had that Glock 17, and that 25 caliber that night that killed Daquan. I did that at 2010, Halloween, pen raising mask. Boy, Sterling ain't do that. I love you, woo baby, but he ain't do that. Big Rambo did that.
Y'all saying it, man. Ridiculous. That man got people in jail and they ain't even do the crime. That's how much deceitfulness and guile Israel got. The man got somebody sitting in jail doing a life sentence for something he did. And until he wilded out and had the SWAT team outside his door, then he realized he gonna go out. He wants to tell his secrets that he got multiple people sitting in jail for his bodies. The guile of Israel, family. Ridiculousness.
To celebrate these amazing birthday stars. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you celebrate your birthday at Chuck E. Cheese's, you are the star of the show. In fact, on the count of 3, let's all wish these stars a great big happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday!
Now we gonna run that back. As y'all seen, Chucky ain't looking at that girl. Now, even if you want to go with the, oh, he didn't see her, then okay, what about the people around him? That the what about the women around him who seen the little girl reaching out for Chuck E. Cheese, the waving at him, and they didn't tap him and say, hey, wave at her. But we seen the white kids on the stage though. He was paying attention to. But the black girl running around him like he can't see her. And this is what our people do. I'm glad the sister sued her, but we got to understand, we got to come out these establishments and stop wanting attention. We are like that little girl to the government. Won't asking for attention, and Chucky walking right past our ass.
To celebrate these amazing birthday stars. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you celebrate your birthday at Chuck E. Cheese's, You are the star of the show. In fact, on the count of 3, let's all wish these stars a great big happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! It's great to be here.
How many racist tropes can you fit into one Bill Maher clip? First off, Chicago? Really? I mean, it's the predictable go-to criminal dystopia for right-wingers, but that's not the reality. Chicago isn't even in the top 10 or top 20 deadliest cities in America. It ranks below cities in red states like Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Columbus, Georgia. Second, the whole black people killing other black people, black-on-black crime. Are you kidding me? White people kill other white people at almost the same rate that black people kill other black people.
So dumb. In terms of sheer numbers, Chicago has 700 murders a year, roughly. Tuscaloosa has 20. Tuscaloosa and Columbus, Georgia, by the way, are also majority-minority jurisdictions. So maybe Hassan, too, is guilty of racist dog whistling. The key point about black-on-black crime is that the rates of offending and victimization among blacks are much higher, which means it's more dangerous to be a young black man than a young white man. But apparently Hassan doesn't care about that because it doesn't fit the narrative. Hey, give us a follow.
A couple of weeks ago in Washington State, an African man by the name of Mamadou Diallo decided to do this. Check it out.
That after the man was arrested along I-5 in Tacoma, he told police he, quote, doesn't like black people. The 3 people police say he shot are all black men.
So yes, you heard it right. And he also said that he did not enjoy spending time with black people. So I want to put a memo out there to African people or anybody else who is not African American. White supremacy does not know the difference. They will not treat you any better. They don't see you as being the better black or us being the worst black. They see us all the same. And so I also want to say black people all over the diaspora, we are all we got. So we need to knock off the divisiveness and come together and build as black people all over the world.
A lot of people have been calling me the N-word or a monkey, even black boy. One girl said to me, I would hit you, but that's called animal abuse. That to me, we should not get treated like this. We should get treated equally. This is not fair to us black people. A lot of
Man, that's hard to hear, man. Y'all heard that young brother. Somebody told him I would hit you with it would be animal abuse. Calling the boy a man, animal, black boy, monkey boy. Man, the Most High coming back, man. Deal with this, man. But until then, we have to make a stand. So we can even be in a position to call out to the Most High. Because our enemies is like a Goliath. And we're like David. And all we need is a little stone. That rock is the Most High. So this is why we have a problem. This our ignorance. We are causing this boy to. We already have to deal with the racism coming out of slavery. So we know what they're teaching their kids at home. If they're saying this to this young boy, what are we saying to our children at home though? We have to tell them not to be doing ignorance, so they're never in that category. You're gonna already be stereotyped and put in that category, but at least we know that you know better and you're not doing that, whether somebody accuses you of it or not. We have to be on the righteous side of things.
Number 1. So that might be one of the reasons why you feel as though they don't like us. Instead of you building your race together, you choose to shoot and kill each other and fight each other in the streets, and everywhere you go, it's always a problem. Black man and black woman. Why? So if you were someone from Africa looking at you on the TV or looking at you in the news or looking at you in the media, would you like you? Not having a conversation, just looking at you at first glance, you're violent, you're loud. The women don't never have on no clothes. They don't know how to submit to a man. They're not submissive. They don't have no class. And I'm not talking about all black people. I'm talking about the majority. Because there are a lot of classy, educated, well-rounded African-American men and women. But obviously there's not enough. There's not enough of us. So they begin to see us as a whole. They begin to see us like this. And no, you can't paint a whole race of people with one brush. But when they turn on the TV and look at us, it's kind of like, what is it to really like? Now, if you're somebody that want to see black people as the queen of the world and the kings of the world, then you're not going to understand this video. If you're not willing to look inside and look at truth that is around you in the African American race, you're not going to like this video. But I got to give it to you real. Like, I know there are some people who appreciate the real. Everyone is not living in Candyland in their brain. Now, whether you admit it to me or you admit it to yourself, African Americans got issues. And that's why it's important that you get to know each person on an individual level. But they asked me, why are y'all so violent? I say it's because of the music, and it's because of slavery, it's because of the media, it is because of the forefathers, forefounders, or whatever, the patriotic, whatever system that we came in on. It was a violent system. Violence and sex sells. I have to explain this to them. But African Americans really living their life. They really doing that in Chicago, in New York, in California, in these large cities, in Atlanta. These people are really living a violent life. It is not really something, if you don't know those people, you look at that, it's not something to like. You have the greatest opportunity that these Africans feel as though they will never have. We have that opportunity, and we take it and kill each other, sell drugs, don't take care of our children, don't support our women. The women don't respect and don't submit to the man. What is it to like? Honestly, though, for real, if they don't really know you as a person and they see you, what is it to like? Because they'll take that opportunity coming from Africa and they'll triple double. They will make sure that they do exactly what they're supposed to do if they had the same opportunities that you have. So that's why they don't like it.
Tell it, sister. Tell it.
I just had to just understand that somebody was experiencing this difficulty moment that was just not. Ma'am, I just cannot bear to continue to talk because it's just so.
Tell me what you saw. Did the police? Who did
what I seen was that.
What more can I say, fam? What more can I say? Besides those that keep their nose high in high places in the black community, who continue to have us in this following the oppressors type of mode also.
Fraternity and sorority put people through so much.
But for real, let's talk about it. I mean, it's not even just talking about what goes on during the intake process, because not all orgs haze at this point anymore. But what's actually happening is once you get into the org, the type of treatment that they give you is narcissistic abuse. That they are full of narcissists, covert, overt narcissists, all of them. The type of abuse that they have, the type of bullying that they have. They talk about all of this sisterhood. I can only speak for the women because I've been in the sorority. It's different with the men, but especially with the women, it's abuse. It's psychological, emotional, verbal. They ostracize people. They will try to do things to embarrass you. The smear campaign. There'll be rumors and lies heard about you and everyone's just turning against each other. It was no sisterhood whatsoever because people join these things to satisfy their flesh.
Thou hast not known me. God is a jealous God. Listen to the chants, the songs, the arts, the symbols of the.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store in the next 20.
Greek theater, please welcome the fraternities and sororities of the National Pan-Hellenic Council, affectionately known by colleges and universities across the country as the Divine Nine. Collectively, they represent more than 100 years of unique brotherhood and sisterhood, with a rich history and legacy of service that stretches far beyond the college yard. Today, they are here to celebrate the freedom of Juneteenth.
The point that I'm getting at is that we've heard of secret societies and that they exist.
Y'all heard it, family. These fraternities, think about it, it's a Greek fraternity. It's not a Hebrew fraternity. Who took you into slavery? They must then read Joel 3:3 about the Greeks taking the people of Jerusalem into slavery. So why almost 2,000 years later, are y'all talking about y'all Greeks? Stockholm Syndrome. Because it's cool, because they make it cool, because everybody in the higher ups, everybody in these positions, you got to go through a Kappa, a Alpha, and all this type of stuff. They in all of the intricacies of the community, Hollywood, all these entertainers are Q dolls and all this stuff. Think about it. You might get the part because you a Q doll, not because you good. This is the wickedness of the society, and these societies and these clubs they built was built off of a man being denied to go into a fraternity at a white school, so he made his own black fraternities, and they were still Greek fraternities. And we think because we throw black on it, because we paint Santa Claus black, because we make the chicken black, because we do things black, that is ours now. No, it's not. It's still you following another people's culture.
The point that I'm getting at is that we've heard of secret societies and that they exist. And with that understanding, one thing I don't think that is well known is the existence of black secret societies. Let me be clear that I don't like referring to this segment of the population as black people, but for time's sake, this is how I will refer to the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade in America. So yeah, people don't think about black secret societies because it is well known that over the course of history in the United States, power has never been truly given to the black community. This is why we saw the civil rights era and even no campaigns like the deceptive Black Lives Matter. It's because there was no power in the community. So I know, it kind of sounds odd to hear of black secret societies. When I first was exposed to it, it kind of threw me off. Because what is the deal with them? If there is power in those other white secret societies, that should mean that there is power in the black ones as well, right? The answer is a clear yes, but it's too deep to discuss right now. The fact I'm getting to is that black secret societies do exist, and it has been the primary way of access Satan has had in order to infiltrate the black community in America. Because they're secret, it was a good reason why the infiltration was able to occur. Nobody knew certain men and women in their communities were compromised. So when we saw them, we looked at their status and their rise that we thought that was based upon education and hard work, never really realizing that they sold out in order to sell us out. I've gone over these black secret societies in other videos. I spoke directly about Prince Hall Freemasonry, and I spoke directly about the Black Boule. Two topics that are extremely important if you want to understand these black secret societies. Again, please know that the secret is not that they exist, but the secret is what they actually do and what they believe in and what they practice. But here's the thing. While those organizations are known for keeping secrets, and they are the source of power in the secular black community, what goes very overlooked is the recruitment tool that's used for these secret societies like the Black Boule. In the black community, the majority of us know about these black collegiate Greek fraternities and sororities. I'm talking about the Alphas, the AKAs, the Kappas, the Deltas, the Omegas, etc. But though we know about them, we know very little about the first black Greek fraternity, the Black Boule, Sigma Pi Phi. This is the first black Greek fraternity in the country, the first pillar of black history after Prince Hall Freemasonry in the black community. But I guarantee if you surveyed a majority of black Americans, they wouldn't be able to tell you much about this group. Most people don't even know that they exist. This is true because, again, like I was saying, there are black secret societies and they hold power in the black community. Most of the prominent black men in the black community are Boule and they're proud of it, which is why LeBron James tattooed their symbol on his body. It's right in plain sight, but because we operate in ignorance without knowledge, it is seen but not known or understood. But listen, this subject is not about the Boule. The point is that in order for the secret society of the Boule to function, to grow, and to operate, they needed a way of recruitment so they can continue to grow throughout our generations without the masses knowing. And their most primary recruitment tool are the black collegiate Greek fraternities that were formed after Sigma Pi Phi came into existence. The Black Boule is a postgraduate, after college, professional organization that they established and accomplished Negroes were secretly a part of, but the way that they kept their membership growing is they formed these minor black collegiate Greek organizations that they always could gather and recruit the talent that they desired. You won't find a Black Boule member that was not already part of the Greek collegiate fraternities. Most people think these fraternities and sororities are just part of our history. They feel that they were a way that Black people formed camaraderie in order to combat oppression and segregation. And don't get me wrong, they definitely are. But they are so much more than that. These organizations were established in order to ensure that Satan had access to the Black community in order to further his goals. If you or anyone you know is a part of the Greek fraternities and sororities, you've taken oaths, you performed their rituals, and you have not repented and denounced your participation with them, you have an extreme problem on your hands when you stand before the Most High.
Yes, family. I had to end it off with that. I got a few more shots for y'all, but this is the final level of serving your oppressors. To make it cool to say you a Greek and you come from Africa, they call you an African American, not a Greek American. This is the final level because all of the entertainers, y'all seen they had Kamala and all kind of people who are politicians, who own companies, CEOs. This is what they think is the high echelon of being Black. But as y'all see what he said, you can't serve two masters. You can't serve God and serve secret societies. You can't be a Mason and serve the Most High. You can't be a Kappa dog and then still serve the Most High. This is serving false gods. And this is what they got set up for Black people in America. Don't know Africans who Black know about this stuff. This is American stuff that we fallen into. Instead of serving the Most High, these are the things we serve. Things of folly.
Saints, here are they to keep the commandments of the Yah and the faith of the Mashiach. Oh, hey, whoa.
Shalom, Zion. So I want to talk about a very serious matter that's been pressing on my spirit lately. And this is coming from Proverbs chapter 3 and 31. Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For some reason, Zion, I don't think we truly understand what that really means. Because when you look around, it seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse with our people. Our people are constantly following these heathens, doing everything that the heathens are doing. So we need to totally break this down in a way that you've never seen it before, so you can completely understand what it means not to follow the ways of the heathens. You know, we're the only race of people on the face of this earth, and I'm talking about the so-called Black man and Black woman. And I use Black loosely because you all know what I'm talking about. When I say the Black man and the Black woman, we know we're talking about Hebrews, because the Bible said that we would be completely destroyed when the yokes of iron came off our necks. And boy, oh boy, we are living in that time, and we see it. And there's a major war between our men, our Black men, and our Black women. And I'm not talking about the kind of war with knives and swords going after each other's throat. I'm talking about a total mentally breakdown of our destructive nature between the Black man and Black woman. And unfortunately, there's going to be mass casualties on both sides. And brothers, we have to be the priest, because we're the ones who have to set the example. So yes, the responsibility falls on the men. So we're going to go and we're going to break this thing down, because at the end of this lesson, you're going to have a complete understanding what it truly means not to choose the oppressor's way, nor choose the way of the heathens. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and turn your Bibles to Deuteronomy chapter 28. And we're going to go over the blessings. Because here's the thing. In order for us to understand how to not envy the oppressor or choose none of his ways, we have to know how to please and choose the ways of the Most High. That is very, very, very important. Let me repeat that again. In order for us to envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, we have to put and get grafted in our minds how to choose the ways of the Most High and please him. Until we do that, Zion, it's going to get worse. Our people are going to continue to choose the ways of the heathens. All right.
Yeah, shout out to Seed of Israel, family. Y'all heard him, man. Let's let go of these heathen ways, family, and come back to the Most High. And he will forgive us. He will give us our land back. Give us our blessings back and do away with these curses we live in.
That goes all the way through our society. He sees it all. And the scripture says, be sure your sin will find you out. But he remembers something else too. It's not too late. God remembers to forget. When any group of people, any nation, will repent of their sins and turn to the Lord, he'll forgive their sins and heal the land. That's the promise of the Lord.
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land.
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. Hallelujah.
Yeah, fam. So that's it. If y'all like it enough, I'll do a part 2. But until then, man, y'all see the Guile of Israel. We need to stop this deceitfulness, this craftiness, this thinking we gonna sneak in the back door of heaven with our wicked ways. Is not gonna happen, family. We gotta be reborn again in Christ and come back to the laws and the commandments of the Most High. And then the Most High will show his favor against us. And the nations in the world, they will see it. And they'll have this new regained respect that we always had, but that we lost. The Most High took it away from us. We'll have it again. But until his son returns, until the prophecies are fully let go of and the seals are broken, then we waiting, family. And we gonna wait and we gonna be righteous and stand and wait on the Most High's power. So I'm Base Jerusalem. This is the Hebrew life. Shalom. Bow. Let's go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Cold like Chicago snow. Holla can't keep police. Making room in the building for my people like it's lease. When we play for keeps. Killing beats my specialty. Tony Hawk, kick, flip me, twist me, grinding specialty. If my flow is drugs, I'm like schedule 1, you schedule 3. Serve the Most High so I could become a better me. Know